and I feel like a lot of people have gotten into the idea of like worshiping the Kardashians, and I honestly, like a little tangent, I think this is gonna be the year where they like lose it, where they're just no longer the standard or the trend because they have been like crashing out. But I don't understand why they were, the blueprint in the first place when they took a lot from the black culture, but that's neither here nor there.
Because they
Um,
have money, and money gets you anything these days. Okay.
well, I know that, but I'm saying like you look at the Kardashians, and other than money, like what is it that sets them, that makes them the trend when all they do is just remix what black women do?
For
And
sure.
I would
For
be
sure.
I would be so gung ho on like supporting it because I am a girl's girl. But I also do realize that if I would have done what they do,
But
it's seen as
sometimes
raunchy.
being a girl's girl is also telling a girl like, listen, you gotta do better. Okay.
I mean, I feel like a lot of girls want that space to have like, a comfort, like having a someone they can, they don't necessarily always want like I know me personally, I'm the type that I'm like, I don't really want criticism. Sometimes I just want like a compliment. And I feel like you can compliment without
You definitely
criticizing.
can compliment for sure. For sure, you definitely can. However, 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 however,
However,
I just feel like that's something that society has just deemed acceptable, and it's just something that needs to change a little bit. I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, listen, I literally go on Facebook and all I see is half naked people. Like at some
and
point,
sometimes we just gotta scroll past that and realize people are gonna do what they want. And
right? But why are these people doing what they want? Because society has told them that they have to look a certain way, or they have to do a certain thing, or they have to be like this, or they have to do this to be accepted.
or maybe they just want to. I mean, I know people who are very body positive and just wanna be that way.
That
Sometimes,
too. I
now
literally
it is
seen
it
somebody
is
in
deep.
brown panties outside standing in the snow. Like, what is the point? What is your purpose? Like, you can't say that there is a reason for that.
Sometimes things just aren't deep at all and they can just be simple as they just want to. And that's just kind of what we have to accept it
But
as.
but why?
It might not be your cup of tea, but there's 8 billion people on this earth. We can't we can't, we can't say why everybody what everybody should be dressing like, or
That's
because
true. That is also true.
those are your, you can't, and that's the thing, you can't uphold your expectations upon everyone else because not everybody else has those same expectations. Some people,
That is
like you were
valid.
saying, they lack the self-love, but some people, they just they just have that. They just want to dress like that. They just want to look like that, or eat like that, or whatever. They just want,
But I'm not even talking about those people though. I'm talking about the ones that feel like they have to do this for attention. That's what I'm talking
well,
about.
those are included. You can't just say, "Oh, I don't want to talk about these people." You kind of have to group them all together.
I do group them all together, but I'm basically saying that us as black women, we need to have more respect for ourselves. That's what I'm gonna just boil it down to.
I mean, and you are entitled to your opinion, but at the end of the
Yeah,
day, it's just like beating a dead horse.
that expression, like I don't understand what these old people be thinking when they be saying this stuff, and like what?
Beating a dead horse. They are beating
Like Uncle
their.
Sean be like, "Let me f this donkey." Like, what does that even mean?
Oh no, I ain't never heard of nothing like that. Hold on.
Say, bro, the stuff. I don't know. It's like the sayings. It's so crazy.
Yeah, I have not heard nothing like that. So, with that being said, yeah, let's,
But yes, another thing I would like to address is spirituality. I feel like that's
okay.
a very important thing that I feel like this day and age, I feel like more people are starting to be more curious about spirituality and learning about God and seeing the signs around us, especially with like I don't want to say false prophets, but these people out here that swear every 5 seconds, oh yeah, you know, this is a prophecy being fulfilled and this is that and the third. I feel like spirituality has become way bigger within these last couple of years, you know?
And I do feel like that is with the, like with social media has had a big part in that. So social media
Hmm.
can be a very negative force, but it can also be a very positive force to the
Yes.
point where you have the opportunity and the right to but not for long, but you have the right to basically spread the word, you know.
Hmm.
Like I'm surprised honestly, I'm surprised I don't see more like Jehovah Witnesses using social media as a way to boost their beliefs. Maybe
Yeah.
it's something about doing the door to door that is, I guess, a part of their religion. I don't know. I don't understand it. It's not
Yeah.
something that
I
I would
can't even help
personally
you,
subscribe
honestly.
to. But I mean, it kind of beats going around in the cold being like, hey, and then getting the door constantly shut. Honestly, my I am too fragile to be a Jehovah Witness because if somebody would have told me no, guess what? If you try to slam that door in my face, no.
You go hit you go hit them with the you go put your foot in the middle like excuse me, I wasn't done.
Literally like let me
Excuse
get
me.
my spiel. Let me get my spiel out of the way first. Then you can shut me. Then you can shut me down. But no. Um yeah, I with spirituality though. And I feel like it comes from more so not wanting to, because me personally, when I grew up, like I was taken to church, like I was going to church like constantly, which sounds surprising. Um, but
Not really.
I wouldn't say I grew up in the church, but I definitely did frequent church a lot, which is why I'm like no stranger to going to church, and I don't feel like I don't feel some type of way. Well, I do kind of feel some a little controversial. I do feel some type of way about the church, but that is just simply because of the people and not the actual church itself.
And
Like
that's
I
another thing. That's what we kind of touched on earlier. How us as Christians are so judgmental
so
and we
judgmental.
focus on the wrong things. Like we focus on the wrong things. Like we need to be like if a young person came to church and they dressed a certain way, like we shouldn't be focused on that. We should be focused on that they came. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Christians are so judgmental and they're so what's the word? They're hypocrites.
Judgmental. I don't. Oh, I was gonna say judgmental.
I feel like hypocrisy is a very big thing in the church, and I hate that some people associate the people with the religion. Like, not all of us are like that, you know, and I really hate that. I don't hate, but I dislike that certain people run people away from their salvation, and it's just crazy. Like how
Mm-hmm.
we are supposed to be the most loving people on earth and how we're the most judgmental.
Oh, and let me tell you, that could be further from the truth because working retail on a Sunday after church hours, they come in and honestly, churchgoers, and I can tell they're churchgoers because they're in their Sunday best, they'll come in shopping around for their items. I don't want to give away where I work, but they'll come in, they'll shop for their items, and then literally serve you the stankest attitude ever. And I'm like, didn't you literally just
Yeah,
come from church?
exactly.
I'm like,
Exactly.
why are you mad at me because we don't have this specific item in stock? Like, and you're gonna curse me out? So, but yeah, so those type of people definitely have steered me away a little bit from the church, but not like the church itself, just more so, not even like, I mean, yeah, they steer me away from the church itself. And I have found that it's easier to practice like faith from home because
Right.
I'm not getting that like judgment from people that are supposed to be loving me.
Exactly.
So, I
I
mean,
think that's a
and
huge thing.
then
Like,
at home, I have resources and I can get the answers to the questions that I have from the internet and social media. Like
yeah,
you
that's
said, you
another
go
thing.
to,
Like, people feel like when you're just joining faith, I feel like people are afraid to ask questions and explore because they feel like they're gonna be looked at differently because they didn't grow up in church, and I feel like that's another thing that deters people from feeling like they're unsuperior to people that have been in church their whole lives, you know?
mm-hmm.
And that's the thing that I try to help. Like, I understand that when you're first getting into your spirituality and you're first learning and exploring that, of course you're gonna have questions because this is your first time doing it. But it's like I feel like the older people almost push you away for not knowing, opposed to teaching you so you do know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, not everybody grew up in Sunday school, and not everybody went to church their whole lives and stayed in church for 10 hours on Sunday and 15 hours on Wednesday and Monday went to choir. Like, no, not everybody had that same experience.
Oh my God, that kind of tangent. That kind of reminds me when I was like about to go to college, I was talking to this guy, like he was my high school crush, I'll say. And on Sundays, he would go to like three different churches. Like he would be at church all day on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And then and I was just like, how, like, and, like I just I can't I don't even have the words to form how confused I am that you go to three
Yeah.
different churches because it's like you're not even um it's not even like you're because what do you gain from that? You're learning from I mean, not saying that you can't learn
But
from
it's
different
not even that.
people.
It's the people that be in church their whole lives that are the furthest away from God. Like, I hate to say it that way, but it's the truth. It's like the I don't know. It's like the older generation. Like, I was listening to my pastor. He was basically saying that anybody could say they're a Christian, but based on the fruit that you bear, and the fruits of the spirit are basically like, kindness and how do you treat people, and the fruit that
Mm-hmm.
people bear, they don't match up with being a Christian. And it's like I feel like that's another thing that people feel like, oh, if I'm a Christian, I could still do this, I could still do that, and it confuses people.
Yeah, it's like you can't get away with murder
It's like,
just because you're a Christian.
yeah, as a Christian, you still have a certain way of living to uphold, and I feel like that's another thing too. Like, people be on church on Saturday, be on in the club on Saturday, and be in church on Sunday. Like, you can't have both. You can't live both ways. Like, and
Yeah,
I feel
and
like
you
that's also
also
very confusing too to people that don't know, or people that aren't Christians, or people on the outside looking in.
you also can't like ask God for forgiveness and then keep doing the same thing over and over again. It's like, you know, it just doesn't make sense.
Like me, honestly, I can say I am not a perfect Christian, and I never claim to be. I make mistakes, but at some point, I have to start taking accountability. And I feel like that's something a lot of Christians don't have, accountability. Like, we
Spell
are here
accountability.
to, huh?
I said spell accountability.
But no, I feel like we don't have that. And us as Christians, we don't take criticism very well. We don't take it
Hmm.
lightly. We feel like if somebody says this about us, then oh yeah, we're gonna rebel, not rebel, but rebel, and we're gonna say this, that, and the other, and we're gonna curse at you, and instead of actually looking at what that person is saying and actually reflecting and being a better person, you know?
Like, hey, maybe I can be pretty decent and, take what this person is saying
Yeah.
to kind of take it into accountability. Good Lord.
You spell
That
it.
was, well, I don't know if I can. I can't even say it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, for sure. I definitely feel that, and it just makes you think like, wow, these
wow.
are the people that's supposed to be helping, and they're leading you astray. You know what I mean? Like,
Definitely. Because, what was I gonna say? I definitely do feel like sometimes some Christians don't even be, willing to practice what they preach or believe what they say and
yes, because I feel
sending
like
the next person
Christianity
off.
is a trend, and that's the word. It's a trend.
Hmm.
Loving God is a trend. You know, posting, sharing godly posts is a trend. You know,
And
people
then they
don't
be
really
anything but
understand.
godly
Yeah, people don't really understand like how hard it is to actually be a Christian. Like it is
and
extremely hard,
living up to
extremely hard.
expectations.
Not even living up to expectations, but the idea of being a Christian is to deny your flesh and to live 100% like God intended you to. And that is hard in a world that is so worldly, you know? Like
I
how
guess I don't
like
know.
music, well, you don't know, but then spiritual warfare, I can honestly say that spiritual warfare has been one of the hardest things I've had to deal with during my journey.
And
And that
that's
could
not
be,
something that I was gonna say that's not something that I have had to deal with because I'm just more of a I don't know, I'm still trying to figure things out.
and you know that I am not the type to push my religion on you, but if you have questions, I will gladly answer. And I feel like that's another thing that Christians do. Like when they feel like you don't share the same belief as them, they beat you over the head with theirs, and that's not the way to do it.
That's what will push me away is that type of
I feel
like
like
behavior.
I don't know. How am I when it comes to my religion?
You've definitely gotten better because you used to just be like, this is wrong and you're going to hell and this. And I was like, girl. So, I mean, I definitely, even like with my boyfriend, like, sometimes I'll go to church with him, sometimes I'll pray with him. So, you know, finding how to, how to
Balance
practice,
everything.
yeah, and practice and learn and everything. It's definitely been a journey.
It
Um,
definitely is. It's not something that happens overnight either. Like
oh, but
anybody.
I do want to say something controversial.
Okay.
When you were saying like people, with discovering their religion, I honestly do feel like sometimes people you will use their spiritual journey like to deal with their traumas
Mhm.
as opposed to just like learning it because they genuinely want to live by God. A lot of people sometimes only do it just because, they feel like they've lived a life of sin. And then that may not necessarily be a bad thing, but it's also like, you can't, I guess, I mean, I don't know. I can't say what you can or can't do, but I do, like I said, I do feel like some people, while I do appreciate the grind and the dedication, I also do feel like those people could just be needing some therapy. Because I honestly used to use religion as like a way to cope with things. Like,
I mean,
okay,
if you think about it, that's what religion is. God came to this world to God brought us Jesus to help us restore ourselves, you know?
but what I mean is like I would, so for example, I would do something like mildly bad and I'd like sit over there and I'd pray, like day in and day out, pray that this thing like never happened. And it was just, I would only pray when it was something negative and I never like really
Okay,
prayed.
yeah, I understand what you mean now. Yeah.
Yeah. like it I used to use religion as trauma
As a
myself. I
crutch.
mean, for my trauma as well.
As a crutch, yeah.
Yeah, so and I feel like a lot of people when they do, I mean like it's good that they found it, but I do feel like sometimes
They abuse
just
it.
yeah, and they make it this thing where it's like, it goes from people living this life of like complete and total sin, which I mean everybody sins. Like if you wear mixed fabric, you
Yes.
sin. So and no sin is greater than the other. But it goes from people literally, you know, living proudly in their sin to turning around and telling everybody else they're going to hell or, being a critic all of a sudden and it's just kind
Yeah,
of
and that's
like
another thing I try not to do. Like I can't say I have. I when I notice I'm doing it, I try to correct it. But I have no heaven or hell to put nobody in. I am no person to judge because the Bible also says that let he not who be judged be judged. Like I don't want nobody judging me, so I'm not gonna judge you. Like I might have messed that verse up all the way, y'all. My bad, but y'all know what I mean.
I
Y'all know what
don't.
I'm trying to say. You don't,
I
but
don't.
it's okay. My Bible thumpers, they know. They know.
Don't get me started on Bible thumpers. I
But
love y'all because love thy neighbor, but relax, relax.
it's like when you think about it, I understand the urgency because it's like when you lock in with God and you understand the times we are in, you know that time is running out. Like we're so close. And it's like
Oh, I
this is
believe
not
that,
the
but I
this
believe it
is
for I believe
this
it for a
is
different
this is
reason.
this is not the time to be straddling the fence. This is the time to choose a side.
I believe that, but I believe that for a different reason, and it's just because of who is currently
But I
leading our
told you,
country.
like, I try to tell you, like, everything in this world is spiritual. Like, we battle not with flesh and blood, but with the spirit. Like, everything is spiritual. Everything happens in a spiritual realm before it happens in real life. And that's basically what spiritual warfare is, like, dealing with life in the spirit, because that's what this world is. It's spiritual.
Hmm.
And I feel
Okay.
like most people don't think about that. Like, Lucifer was the prince of music. Like he was the king of music. Like if you read the Bible, they say his body was covered in instruments. Like he's had the voice of a like he was the king of music. So when people be listening to all these music, all these genres and all these artists and it make you feel a certain way, that's purposely. That's purposely. That's why I be telling you, like, you need to guard your portals, like your eye portals and your ear portals, because everything is a portal. Everything is spiritual. When you listen to these songs or you watch these shows or you watch these movies, you're coming into agreement with what these movies and songs are talking about, and you don't even know it.
I have definitely heard that before, and yeah, I do try to. I mean, obviously, not in the way that you're talking about, but I do try to at least control who I'm listening to, but that's just more of like a moral thing. Like, oh, I'm not gonna listen to R. Kelly because literally what he does. I don't do it in the sense of like you said, guarding my portals or something. But
But yeah, like people don't even realize that the music you listen to and the things you allow to have dominion of your life can control how your life turns out. Like you ever notice how you listen to a certain artist and you start feeling depressed or you start feeling aggressive or that's purposely. That's purposely.
I mean, yeah, but I was just depressed before the music, so
Girl.
it's the truth, especially with seasonal depression that has just a lot to do with not getting enough sunlight because it's cold and I'm not going outside. And, no sunlight means you're lacking in vitamin D. So that's just more of a me issue and me having to go get my supplements.
The point being, you all, that I'm trying to make is the spiritual realm is a real thing. Like the sooner people realize that the devil is a real person, It's a saying. It's a quote. I don't know who said it, but it's something that always stuck with me. The greatest thing the devil ever did was convince the world that he wasn't real.
Oh, I know the devil's real, and
That's
it's
all
Uncle
I'm saying.
Sam.
That's
It's
all
Uncle
I'm saying.
Sam, because why does he get a cut of my money? How why does he get a
Girl,
cut of my taxes?
girl, I'm being so real life right now, and you playing
I'm being for real too. Why can't I have all my money that I worked for? Why do I have to give?
because
Nobody ever gives to me.
that's just how things are set up. I'm not gonna say this is a democracy because this is not a democracy.
It's
That's
not a
how things
democracy.
go. And like I said, everything is spiritual. When you realize that everything is spiritual and you actually learn and see through things with your third eye, it makes you realize and look at the world a lot differently.
Definitely. And I do feel like how do I feel? I don't even know how to
I don't
feel.
know. How do you feel, ma'am?
This is a very enlightening conversation. I will say that much. Um, and it like having conversations like this, it definitely does make you think a lot more about like what you do on a daily, what you wear, how
And that's
how
all I
would you
want to do. I just want to raise awareness because if you don't talk about it, then you don't know.
yeah. And I mean, I personally am not here to change anybody's mind. I'm just simply here to offer another
Outlet.
viewpoint. Yeah, another
For
viewpoint
sure.
on life.
And that's
But
all I really can do. Like I said, guys, I am not here to judge you. I have no heaven or hell to put you in. All I can do is inform you and motivate you and encourage you.
I will say though, this little tangent, it does remind me of the time when I was a caregiver, and I was a caregiver in Central Illinois, and if you know, that is a very outdated, not outdated. They have a lot of people there have outdated views. And so I did have a client that was he basically was like, I don't want any black woman to be my caregiver. And so I he was obviously a little flustered when I initially arrived because I couldn't take him anywhere because of how I had my car insurance set up. Um, he basically was very flustered, but then I eventually, I did the stuff that he wanted me to do. Then we sat down and we talked. Mind you, I was just supposed to be a replacement for this guy,
Mhm.
um, a replacement for another caregiver that was out. And so, he went from that. We had like one conversation where, I was able to speak, he was able to speak. He was, he wasn't like, I won't say that he, I don't necessarily say that he was racist, although the things was saying were racist. I just think he had very outdated views, and it was
Mhm.
mainly in ignorance. But we sat there, we talked, and we listened to each other. And I never was like really trying to change him, but he looked at me and he was like, "You're the first person that's like ever actually let me talk and not been offended by what I had to say." And yeah, I was a little offended, but I mean, I wasn't gonna like let him know. Like it wasn't my house. It wasn't my place to say if I was offended or not. I just
Mhm.
simply offered like my outlook on life. And from then he went from saying he didn't want another black caregiver to requesting me to be his only caregiver. And
Mhm.
and then we would sit there, we would have those conversations and we got to like know each other. And it was actually really beautiful that I didn't feel like I was changing his mind, but I
Mhm.
definitely felt like I was giving him more information on like, this is how a lot of black people view the world. This is how I view the world as a black woman in a neighborhood like this. And so it was just very like refreshing. And I have not talked to him in a while. We used to keep in contact even when I quit,
Mhm.
but I have not talked to him in a long time just because I've moved and everything. And I hope that he's doing well, honestly.
Yeah,
So
I definitely feel that. And that's all. It's just ignorance. You don't know until somebody informs you, and then the more you know, the more you
no. I'm
The more
sorry.
you know, the better you can react to the world.
The way that's a double fire, those double fire alarm just went off in the background. Like, it
Not
was
too
like beep,
much on
beep.
me. Not too much. Not too much. Not too much. Not too much. I think I'm ear blind because I ain't hear it at all.
You know, they when they have the memes where it says like, there it goes again, where it says like black noise. That's the black noise.
Bruh. So ghetto.
Well,
Anyway, anyway, just ignore that, guys. Just ignore it. It's okay. It's
or
okay.
if you just replace the battery, you know.
Okay. How many times do I have to say that I cannot reach it?
You have chairs in your house. Just stand on
Listen,
a chair.
next time you come over here, I'm gonna show you how high it is, and then I want to hear you say that again.
That's fine. I'll just replace it. Do you have the batteries?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, I'll just replace it.
Come over tomorrow then.
Tomorrow? I don't know.
Hey.
Maybe. We'll see.
Oh,
We'll see.
guys, we're also going to Vegas.
Woo! Even though you were just preaching, we're going to Sin City.
Well, even Jesus hung out with sinners. That's the thing. Just because you are a godly person, you should not let sinners corrupt you. You should be able to be a light without getting condemned, being condemned. You know what I mean? You shouldn't be influenced by them. They should be influenced by you.
I'm going to influence myself to drink and gamble, but that's just mean. That's the demons I have to deal with. So, and
Yeah,
I
go
reckon, and
ahead,
I
baby.
realize that.
I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I'm a gamble, but when I lose my $5, it's a wrap. I'm done. You laughing, but I'm so serious.
And God's gonna sit there and be like, "I told you, now stop being worldly and start acting like you got some sense."
Actually, you right. See, accountability.
But I mean, I
Accountability.
also can't talk because I'm gonna be
But no,
doing the
y'all, I ain't
things.
gonna lie. Like, even if anything, I'm gonna gamble $5, and when I lose that, it's a wrap. If I
It's a
win it back,
testament.
that's cool. But I don't understand how people be in the casino spending all their money, baby. This boy told me he blew like three bands. Like what?
You
And you lost
lost.
that? Yes, you lost it.
How do you?
Baby,
Okay,
you wanna got me after $5. Talking
yeah,
about you wanna
no,
make it six? Nope. Nope.
don't even. I'm just gonna go there. I'm gonna do the cute little. I've been doing my research on TikTok. Which, by the way, can we just talk about tangent? Can we just talk about how quick that ban was?
Yeah.
And everyone's been saying like their For You page has been like has changed. I personally, I don't want to jinx it, but I personally, knock on some wood, I personally haven't noticed like a big shift. Like I still get a lot of like political stuff on my For You page, but I also will say it has been like a few little Trump videos have been trying to creep on my For You page, and I'm like,
Yeah,
no.
no, I can't say mine has changed. It's still Christian talk, y'all. I'm on Christian talk. I'm on farm talk because I want to have my own farm, but that's neither here or there. Um,
I just think it's interesting how our president, our now president, that he rigged the election, by the way. That's neither here nor there.
Once again, everything in this world is planned, baby. Everything is spiritual. Okay, when you realize that, you look at the world differently. Are we
I
trying
mean,
to say?
I understand that, but I just want to say, like, everyone was saying he was like the beacon of Christianity and how he's gonna, but he couldn't be any less far, like he couldn't be any farther from being very satanic. First of all, at the inauguration, I didn't watch it because I don't want to deal with that. He doesn't put his hand on the Bible. Every president before him has, you know, at least our recent presidents that we have pictures of.
It's in the Bible that God said to never swear on the Bible, but you know what? That's neither here or there.
Well, I mean, it's a tradition.
However, it's very demonic in itself. God said that one of the worst things you could ever do is swear in my name.
I
Just
think it was more so not swearing, but it's like
You
A
literally
lot of
put your
people.
hand on the Bible and you swear. Like
No,
there's
but it's
no.
swearing to be swearing to
You get sworn
honesty.
in. I understand that. I understand that. However, however,
However,
however.
but yeah, it's more so like you do it in court too. You put your right hand on the Bible because if you lie, that's just the thing you're gonna have to deal with.
But however, have you ever thought about how you probably don't know this, but how it's a deity named Baal, and he basically represents child sacrifice, and how one of his poses is he puts his hand down and he puts one hand up. You ever notice that? You see
No,
that a
I don't
lot.
know who that is, but
It's okay.
I
I'm gonna enlighten you. It's okay. I'm gonna show you.
oh goodness.
But you look at all these different things, even all these pagan holidays, for example. When you really find out the origin of these holidays, it just makes you look at things differently, you know. Like I said, everything on this world is spiritual.
And it's playing everything is not what it seems.
Actually, everything is exactly like it seems if you have the
And
right
not according to
idea.
Selena Gomez.
Eh,
No, that wasn't Selena Gomez, was it? Who sung that song?
yes, it was.
It was? I thought it was. No, that
Wizards of Waverly Place Girl?
yes, but I don't think it was her that sung the song.
I don't know. I think it is.
No, because it
If
was
she's a singer, why wouldn't she sing her own intro?
because a lot of people didn't do that. My
That's a
phone is
Raven
loading
song,
so
her
slow.
intro.
Well, that's Raven. She was that was her.
Hannah Montana sung her intro.
Yeah, that's her. There was somebody who didn't sing their intro.
Who?
The Proud Family, and I'm pretty sure
Actually,
Kyla Pratt was a singer. The Destiny's Child did theirs, and I'm pretty sure Kyla Pratt was a singer.
actually, she's just an actor.
Oh
Yeah. We're just gonna move off this topic, save you some embarrassment.
no! Wow, I'm getting like all the notifications. Everything
But
is not what it seems.
are you Googling
Oh,
it?
I was like trying to type it in on my iPad because my phone is loading very slowly. I probably should start doing the podcast. Well, I guess I'll have to do them in person. Um, is
Yes,
not.
guys. Eventually, I want to start moving to the video portion of the podcast. I want to get in that bag, but right now we're audio only.
I think video would be funny because I feel like no, I don't. Honestly, I don't feel like we would get a lot done.
At all. Like, we
We would
don't get
like
a
be
lot
looking at each other,
of FaceTime, so.
but that's okay.
But,
That is all right.
guys, I honestly feel like I can honestly feel myself changing from the first podcast I ever did to now. And, excuse me, I appreciate everybody who has supported me from the
Who?
beginning. What?
Who? It's just the way you said it. Sorry.
I appreciate everybody who has supported me from the beginning, and I promise I'm gonna only get better. I'm gonna only get better. And to the 8 supporters I had, what y'all want from the gas station when I get rich?
The gas station is
The
crazy. Like
gas station.
at least get them like, a nice little like biggie bag from Wendy's or like a
On bro, seafood boils for everybody. What
well
y'all want in your
that's
bag?
doing too much. We
What
didn't
y'all
get the
want?
check yet.
What y'all want in y'all bag? Let me know.
We didn't get the paycheck yet. That's too much.
It's
I was gonna say
okay.
like the $5 meal from McDonald's.
Can I get a daily double extra pickles? Thank you.
And I will graciously get that daily double with extra pickle. Thank you very much. Actually, not really. Actually, yes.
Well, no, I say that to say I thank all my supporters and I love all of y'all. And
No,
like
you
I
don't. No,
said,
I'm just
this
kidding.
this is a place where it's okay to get controversial. It's okay to say what you think, and that's where I want this place to be. I want you to be able to express yourself, no matter what that is, how it may come off. And hey, hey,
B. Sorry, I'm so sorry.
that's just how it is. And I hope that I continue to enlighten you, and I hope that I continue to spread the gospel and encourage you in your walk with God and your
Amen.
journey, no matter where it is, and just be that person to uplift. And you know,
Yeah, quick
I hope I
question. Is there an In and Out in Las Vegas?
girl, that is so irrelevant to what I was just saying.
I know, but I also, sorry, I was looking at something just now and I was like, I want to try like a fast food that isn't in like the Midwest, and I think In and Out is. I know it's
I
in
think it
like
is one in there. But I was,
okay,
as I was saying, I appreciate all my supporters, guys, and I promise you, I'm only gonna get better. And this is not me being cocky, but one thing I learned is when God is on your side, it don't matter who is against you, because what God has
Amen
for you
is
can no
way
man,
stronger.
can no man
Oh,
stop.
I mean, but like, okay,
And I can honestly say that as I began to take my walk with Christ more seriously, and I began to get in my Bible and change what I watch and change what I listen to and stop listening to secular music or secular artists and stop associating with certain people. And I noticed,
and sorry to leave you saying, and
girl, please, I'm trying to be serious. Please, Rebecca,
I'm
please.
not as Rebecca, please. I'm not a
But
serious person.
I definitely can see the difference. And like I said, the walking with God is not going to be easy. It's gonna have its challenges, but only the strong survive. And like I said, when you look at the times we are in, we are truly in the end times, and this is not the time to straddle the fence, because straddling the fence, you've made your choice. That's all I'm gonna say.
Never, never back down. Never what?
No, the devil owns the fence.
Never back down. Never what?
Anyway, so I just hope that this conversation, this podcast has helped some people understand and, you know, help you relate in all the best ways, of course. And anything else you would like to add before we close out?
No, no, honestly, I don't have anything. I think that you encompassed everything perfectly, of course.
Thank you. Thank you. So, with that being said, we're going to close out. And of course, I love you guys. Be safe and make good choices.
Of course.
And this has been another episode of Healing What Should Never Been Broke podcast, featuring your host, Cam. And
CC Wilson, and you can find all my socials at CC Wilson. Um, and my Instagram is CC Wilson 110. Um, that is CC. The way you spell CC is CECE, and my last name Wilson 110. And those are gonna be like my socials pretty much. I'm on Xiaohongshu, Instagram, TikTok.
girl, wait, what is that?
Yeah, it's what we all went to when TikTok was shut down.
What
That's
is
why,
we? I ain't go to nothing, y'all. I was asleep.
oh,
I didn't even know TikTok shut down.
yeah, it's the Chinese
Oh,
version
that's that
of
red note.
Instagram. Yes, Xiaohongshu. I like to use the proper term.
Excuse
Xiaohongshu.
me. Pardon me
Yes.
for those I may have offended by saying red note. Excuse
No, no,
me.
no, but I just want to use the proper term because yeah.
On the next episode, guys, I think next week we're gonna talk about how I don't or actually I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna save it. Y'all just gotta tune in and find out.
Yes, yes. Thank you for having me on here. Um, yeah.
Of course. Well, we're signing out. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Healing What Should Have Never Been Broke podcast. And I'll see you guys next week. I love you. Bye.
Bye.